Welcome to the Mingo and Karen Show, the podcast. We're excited that you've chosen to explore the topic of life with us. All of us are here for a reason, so let's venture on this journey together. I'm so excited about this podcast today because tomorrow it's our 25th anniversary.
A quarter of a century.
Oh my gosh, that's like craziness. I'm so grateful and blessed.
Wow.
To be here with you, babe. And
hey, likewise.
We were kind of talking about how we just wanted to share with people, just going back over the memories and throughout the years, just the things we've been through and how we got to this place.
Yeah, it's not easy. First year is the most difficult year because you're learning each other and you're easily to give up in the first year. But man, to think about the first year being 25 years ago tomorrow.
Wow, that's crazy.
Man, it's just a blessing. It's beyond a blessing. And anything we can do to help other couples get this far or even further than us.
Yeah.
You know, well, you can't be further than us if you're behind us because we ain't going to stop.
Well, but then you don't ever know that if people who have been married longer than us, we don't know what issues they face, and maybe something we say could bless them so that they can have more years together.
Remember we saw the couple, I showed you the picture of the older couple on social media. They had been married 75 years.
Oh yeah.
And they look happy.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that happiness in a relationship is definitely a choice. Going back to what you were saying about that first year, the thing that I find fascinating about those two people back then is we're not those same people, right?
And I think both of us being Scorpios, we didn't know how to quit.
Yeah.
Even though the flesh in us wanted to quit, we just couldn't quit.
Yeah.
And it wasn't so much that we weren't compatible. It was that I was set in my ways, you were set in your ways.
Yeah.
And that way
didn't work.
Yeah.
It didn't work. And I think that something that most people would never guess is that we were not even together approaching our first anniversary. We were living in two separate places, and we were headed to get a divorce. Pretty much that's the decision that we had made. And you called me, and we talked every day because we had a son still, but you called me, you like, hey, I mean, our anniversary is coming up. We might as well,
let's do it.
Go hang out or go to dinner.
I ain't gonna take nobody else out to eat.
Yeah, because I'd have had to go and, you know what I'm saying, get with you. But, you were like, come on, let's just go get something to eat. So I was like, I got to go to the store because I'm going to be looking good. You ladies, y'all know how it is.
Set me up.
Yep. Well, it wasn't for that. It was, let me show him what he going to miss.
I'm like, okay, we doing it like that. That's how you feeling today.
So I got all cute. I had on all white. Mm-hmm. It was like the second day of spring or something like that.
Looked like she came down from the clouds.
No, don't even try it. But yeah, so I had on, and we went to Olive Garden. And we had such a good time, we decided to go to the club afterwards.
Yeah, we doing it big. We young.
And it's this our anniversary, and it's going to be our last time.
And we had a babysitter.
Yes, and we thought we weren't going to be married anymore. And now that I think about it, why would we be celebrating that? That was so dumb.
Hey.
But that night we realized how much we really did want to be together, and we were able to talk, whereas before we were always arguing. I don't know, it was weird, I guess, because we knew it was the end. We didn't hold anything back.
Yeah, and I mean, as a young couple, I wish we could have had other couples around us, more closer to our age range, to let us know that those feelings, there's nothing wrong with those feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And we never saw a finish line. We just always saw us, doing it together.
Yeah.
It wasn't a beginning and end thing. It's like, we took those vows very serious. I mean, very, very serious. To death do us part.
Yeah.
When we said them, I mean, even the cadence of us saying them to each other, we said it really slowly. And, it's just, I don't know. I'm kind of speechless in just this moment because I'm just really realizing, looking in your eyes right now.
Oh, baby.
We have been married 25 years.
That's insane.
And I mean, and when we tell people that, the reactions are priceless.
Yeah.
The reactions are priceless. They're like, what? You don't look like, yeah, we have. Yeah. We have grown kids and a grandchild. And, so our whole goal for this podcast today was not just to celebrate one another.
Yeah.
It was to say, hey, how do you help other couples get to this? And that first stage is you understand that you're going to have obstacles. I mean, period. I mean, it's so many different things that could come up. You can't even prepare for them.
Yeah.
But you have to understand that we're not one another's enemy. We're not against each other. We are for each other.
Absolutely.
So we can get through anything now. had somebody came and told us that, a lot of things we faced, we would have had a different feeling about it.
Absolutely.
But we had to learn this stuff on the back end. That's why we kind of like reaching back, because we want to see other couples be able to make it through. Like, you know, right now in these times, you spend a lot of time together. Yeah. Couples like to be social. They like to be around each other. They do things with friends or
hang out,
co-workers. Yeah. So you have to know how to navigate through that when it's not a social hour. It's just you two.
Yeah, and I think for us, what we learned at this stage in our life is how to get along and communicate better.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was, and ironically, it had nothing to do with love. It was a part of it, especially when we were younger, was immaturity, but also not always fully being honest. And when I'm talking about fully being honest, let's say if it was something that I didn't like, but I'm like, oh Lord, I ain't gonna say that because I don't want to get into an argument, or I don't want us to have a back and forth or whatever. My delivery was always the issue.
You know, you just said something, and this is a phrase I say all the time. Mm-hmm. Love will make you go, and like will make you stay.
Yeah, and a lot of people think that because they've asked us, like, what's the key to being married? For us, simply because, you know, you're not going to always have that warm, fuzzy feeling, and you're going to forever be evolving as a human being.
Yeah.
So you can't expect the relationship to remain the same like our relationship is totally different.
Yeah, from when we were that young.
Yeah, 25 years ago.
21 years.
Even 3 years ago, you know, relationships evolve. And so I think it's important to make sure that there's a foundation for you to get along. So my delivery wasn't always the best. I'm pretty like straightforward, blunt kind of person. And it always came off like I was talking at you. And there were times when I was talking at you, you know, but then there were also other times when I didn't know how to tell you something I needed to tell you without just being a bitch about it.
And
you know what I'm saying?
kind of polar opposite. I'm more laid back and let the chips fall where they may. And then we see where it is from there. But, you know, to elaborate more on love will make you go, like will make you stay. I just told that to somebody recently. They're like, what? Say that again. I said, love will make you go, like will make you stay. So I'm going to tell you what that means. If you love somebody and you all are just not good for one another, but I mean, you love them with every fabric of them. If that is your friend and you care about that person, you will go. But if you like somebody, you genuinely enjoy their company, and sometimes y'all in and out of it, but I mean, you genuinely like this person. It's like, man, I can't wait to talk to this person in the morning. I can't wait to talk to this person on my lunch break. I can't wait. I mean, it's just that like factor. I just really like you.
Yeah.
Love is like the icing on the cake.
Too,
yeah, you see what I'm saying? So like will make you stay. So that's why when we were on a peak and then we slid down in a valley, that like piece, that love piece held us together, but that like piece pulled us up out of it.
And I think because we have a genuine love for one another, we have a genuine love for our children. That's a whole different kind of thing than what we're talking about. This whole liking a person, you think about your friends. You know, you like your friends, or you like your, you know who you like. Well, if you can take like and make that a priority in your love, then it can sustain, because you're not going to always be the person that you were. I'm not going to always be the person that I am, but we genuinely like a lot of things about each other. Like, even when we were not in love, so to speak, I could make you laugh.
Absolutely. All the time.
And if we wanted to, you know, I still continue to be what I've always been to you. And I've said this before in our podcast, I really enjoy being a traditional wife. So, or what the roles used to be now, not to offend anyone, of course, but I like cooking for you. I like doing things for you. That never stopped just because we were like not
at odds.
Yeah.
But then that's the thing we talk about, you know, y'all being on the same parallel path. That folds back into that.
Yeah.
These are tools and nuggets that we had to learn. But we were mature enough. We were immature and mature all at the same time. We were like some young old souls. Like, this thing has to work, because we have a formula, and people think we're kind of crazy when we say this formula. We say, you know, we tell you about the whole love and like thing, but we say 1 + 1 = 1.
Yep.
And people are like, oh my God, where did you learn math? I mean, just being all technical about it. I said, nah, you know us. It's a backstory to it. 1 + 1 = 1. Do you agree or do you disagree? Most people would say I disagree, because they're thinking from a logical aspect.
Absolutely.
The point we're making is Karen is 1 plus I am 1 that equals one.
Yep, one together.
We're one together. And you shouldn't overthink things. For us, we use real life examples about us because our love is real. Anybody who knows us know Mingo and Karen together. I don't even think we know anybody separately.
Yeah, not to that extent, and not so. Just to clarify that's not on like some weirdness.
Yeah, we do stuff. We do stuff independently.
Yeah, and we have independent friends. But I'm saying most people just know us as Mingo.
Yeah, they know
Karen.
us as a couple because the first thing a person say when they see me, if Karen's not beside me, well, where's Karen?
Yep, or they'll ask me, well, where's Mingo?
Because people know us as being that union. I'm not saying you have to be to that extent.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that.
I know, babe.
But this is just if we can take down some hurdles or some things that couples are going through just based on our firsthand knowledge of it. Don't mean you have to do it just like us, but I would like to think that, even I just thank so many people for just coming. I mean, the love and support that we get from this podcast is amazing.
Yeah, it is.
And had I known that years ago, I understand. I used to tell Karen, I said, I feel like we in that show Touched by an Angel. I'm telling my age right now. And I just felt like, gosh, we go through this and then we went through that, but then we did this and then we did that. But it was all in examples to give the people. Somebody told me once before, the testimony is not yours.
Right.
And this is not even on a religious tip. I'm just saying, if you learn something, you have a duty to share it with somebody
you learn,
else.
absolutely.
You have a duty, and tell them the raw truth. Tell them if you didn't feel like you could do it. Because there's so many people that feel like they can't do it. And then let's say you went in there and you just hit a home run. Well, tell them how that feels too, because somebody's hit a home run like that before.
Absolutely. And I think you saying that, I don't think, and I want to share a time so we can kind of help people understand when we keep talking about what we've gone through. So, Mingo and I both were in the real estate industry. I was a real estate agent and he did mortgages. So we were like a team. We were very successful. Definitely well over, into the six figures a year is what we were doing. I won awards and different things like that. And then the market crashed.
2008, around that time.
Well, it started for us. We started noticing kind of the pattern of it in 2007.
Yeah, we started seeing it come. Saw the writing on the wall a little bit.
But we weren't paying attention. That's the thing. I mean, I can remember us even going to the beach, and like, oh, everything will be all right. It'll recover. We ain't never seen nothing like this before, so it's not going to happen. And then realizing like, okay, everything will be fine. And then coming back from that beach trip and a couple months later, Mingo started noticing a lot of his loans that were approved and ready to go, the banks were closing, the lenders were closing. And so as a result of that, we had a pretty good amount saved in the bank. So we had enough that we could have made it for a year, which is the way we tried to make sure we had enough money. But I think after going on that trip, really, we were down to maybe about we could care for ourselves for 8 months. But we never imagined in a million years
that it wasn't recovered as quick.
Oh, man, that part of it was crazy. We didn't know what was coming. I gained a tremendous amount of weight after that too. Y'all have heard me talk about my weight stuff before, but what happened was devastating to us. So our house, we could kind of see as we were getting, we're making mortgage payments. The bank account was getting lower and lower and lower. So it's like, oh man, what are we gonna do?
Wasn't putting nothing in, just kept taking things out.
Everything we were doing, all our deals kept falling apart. I mean, it was crazy. So I reached out to the lender to tell them, because they had started talking about the whole, let your lender know they could probably do a modification. We went through all of that. So they came up with like a repayment plan, and so we had to make a certain number of payments over a certain number of months. And so we did all of that. And then we get this letter after they got the money saying that they denied us the modification.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what do you mean? So I went, go ahead.
No, just saying this after we paid them $10,000.
Yeah, it was like, it actually was over $11,000 we paid. So then it was like, okay, well, you can reapply, and it was all this kind of stuff. So within 60 days, I received a letter in the mail stating our modification had been approved and all this kind of stuff. So after that though, how long was it? I got the letter.
Yeah.
And Was it within? No, that same week. That was on a Tuesday morning, because I remember them talking about people going, getting foreclosed on, and it was a record number in Jefferson County that day.
It was 150.
It was 150.
I remember.
Yep, and I was like, man, we just beat it. Let's pray for these people.
Yeah.
And then my neighbor called that afternoon and said, hey, somebody was walking around your house, some lady. And I'm like, walking around our house? She said, yeah, she left something on the door. I said, well, go see what it is. So she got it for me, but it was just like, call this number. So anyway, long story short, y'all, those 150 houses that they foreclosed on that day, one of them was ours.
And we didn't even know.
So they're legally foreclosed. And then, of course, years into that, that was so stressful. Us and our 4 kids, we had a 3-story house, unpacked everything, was trying to sell furniture, and we went and stayed with my mom. And we had to endure that for 2 years. You talking about a strain on a marriage?
Yes. And it's not so much a strain that I don't love this person. You're just trying to figure out what happened. So that's why we're giving keys and nuggets. We're very, that particular story, Karen, is very detailed because we needed you to feel the emotion of what was going on.
Yeah.
And the good side of that is, here we are, 25 years. Yep. So what we're trying to tell you is, the stuff you have, that's not what your relationship is made of. Whatever you driving, if you have it, it don't make the relationship better.
Yep.
If you lose it, it puts a strain on the relationship. The house, the trips, life is ever changing.
Yeah.
Your relationship has to evolve the same way. I couldn't expect Karen to be the woman she was at 21 at the age she is today. And that's the same for me. And then I learned things and she learned things. Our kids even learned things. I mean, you're talking about our kids were young kids then, and now they're adults.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're just, that pain, I just want you all to understand too, the pain of that, and trying to stay married and trying to stay married, trying to raise children. All of that was a lot on us. And I fell into a depression. I mean, I didn't know I was depressed though. I just knew that I slept a lot, so I'm just, grateful that we're here. I remember how painful that time was for us,
Yeah.
and how we would fuss with each other.
Yeah.
Because life was kicking our behind.
For no reason. And because we never blamed one another.
Yeah, we never did.
We just didn't have nobody. It's funny because this is the part of the relationship people don't tell you about. We fussed with one another because we had nobody we could talk to about it.
Yep.
Because anybody we talked to on the outside about it, they pick sides. See, when you're paying a mortgage payment of the type of mortgage payment we were paying, most of the people we knew were not paying mortgage payments like that. So they would think, well, why don't you just get a smaller house? Did you hear me say no money is coming in?
Yeah.
You just can't just move. And then once you reach that level of success, you don't believe that it won't come back.
Yeah.
And what we're saying is, we're framing this up, talking about this amount of stress to show you that like will make you stay. See, love would have said, hey, you go stay with your mama, you take the kids, I figure out somebody to live with. Hey, this it. But we never said, well, you know what? We're in this together.
Yeah.
We were always in it together.
Yeah.
And me and Karen are really big on, okay, you can't reflect right now, but at some point you got to reflect about that period of time.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you may want to just cry about it now. It might be 10 years later, but if situations come your way and then you throwing up red flags, that subconscious is reacting off that pain from back then.
Man, and how many times over the years did we have to have that conversation about that time? It was so painful that we couldn't really, oh my God, I felt like we lived it every single day. It was terrible. It was because we had to, how can you explain something like that to your children? You know what I mean? How can you explain to them that this is the house that we built for them and now they can't live there anymore?
They saw it from the dirt to the actual house.
Exactly. And Christmas memories and all kinds of things. But the thing I know that was important to us, a lot of people say, well, and my mom and I've had this conversation recently about how successful our children have been despite everything that they've been through.
Yeah.
Because they were there with us.
Oh yeah.
But we always tried to protect them. Even if we weren't getting along, we tried to protect them and make sure that we kept the same level of stability for them.
And you know, this part right here, we got stories for days. I mean, we got stories, situations, we got triumphs, we have failures. But I think the key to this whole podcast, especially the day before our 25th, we want to finish off by talking to you all about how to stay together.
Yes.
Because that's all this is. Yes. How do you stay together? So many couples ask that. How do you stay together for so long? I love her. That is, everybody knows how much I love Karen.
Yes. I love you too, babe.
Yes, I love you back. But we stay together because I like her. Mm-hmm. I mean, I really like her. She is really my best friend.
Yes, babe.
And I'm not saying your spouse, your significant other, your partner, whatever, they don't have to be your best friend. But I'm telling you, if you can have a relationship that feels like a best friend, mm-hmm. I feel like I can tell Karen this.
Yep.
I went through that, and I know anything that I tell Karen or ask Karen, she's not going to judge me for it. She's not. That's just not her. She don't work like that.
And really, one of the things about me that's so funny is if I feel like Mingo is hurting about something or he's going through something, I can feel it. I don't know. The kids laugh at us all the time about stuff like that. Like, Mom and Dad, how do y'all think so much alike? But we're a lot alike, even as vastly different as we are. But if I feel something for him, I would rather, it doesn't matter as a wife how I feel.
Yeah.
Mingo will tell you, I'll take my wife hat off and put on my friend hat and straight be like a therapist.
She had been my therapist. I laid on that couch a couple of times. But
Right.
that's what we talk about, staying together. So we'll give you a few tools in staying together. We'll give you some of the things that we've done. I'll say a few, and I'm sure Karen will say a few.
Okay, go ahead, babe.
We don't go to bed mad.
Facts.
We
Never
have. We don't go to bed mad.
Nope.
If we have
We'll stay up all night and talk it out,
the
fight
sun
it out,
could
whatever.
come up, whatever.
We still
You
talking.
ain't going to bed mad and you sleep in that morning.
Yep.
Another thing is we don't leave the house.
Yep.
If there's a disagreement, we do not leave the house.
Yep.
And then we've talked about this in one of our previous podcasts about praising in public and protesting in private. You know, that was shared with us a long time
Mm-hmm.
ago. And we've kind of stretched that theory, well expounded over what was given to us.
Right.
We use that as a foundation of, you know, you're on your best behavior, regardless of what may come up in front of other people.
Yes.
Then when you get home or in a private setting, then you discuss it the way you discuss it.
Absolutely. And for me, one of the key things is to provide grace.
Yeah.
You know, all of us are changing, and, you know, we always, you know, give grace to other things and other people. Why wouldn't you give the same thing to your spouse? Try to figure out what it is that they're going through and how you can support them.
Yeah.
Another thing that's been a big key component for me is just making sure that I'm present. A lot of people are not present in relationships, and they're not intentional. You have to be both in order for the relationship to evolve and be what you want it to be. Stand in there, the same attention that you give your job, the same attention that you give to even your children or your friends, or as hard as you work to go to brunch every Saturday with your girls, work that hard to work in your relationship. And it's important to do that.
Yes. And the reason you do that is we have to all understand that we all have a role to play in a relationship.
Yep.
We have individual roles and we have couple roles.
Mm-hmm.
And when you understand that, do not ever accuse anybody of doing wrong. Mm-hmm. And let me explain that a little better. If you all are in a situation, you both are in a situation.
Absolutely.
And it works out a little better if you all work together to get out of the situation.
And just because it may not be directly you that's in it, you're in it because you need to be able to support that other person. But that's important.
But if Karen is going through something, let's say at her job, well, I'm going through it too when she come home if she's sad about it.
Yeah.
Or even if she's happy about it.
Yeah.
It could be a 10-year work anniversary. Well, I'm excited for her, and I ain't worked not 1 hour up in that job for her.
All right.
And that's we keep that old saying, teamwork makes the dream work.
It's real.
That is real. That is real. I'm not trying to get you to buy into anything I'm selling. I'm telling you, this stuff works.
And some days you'll be the team that's playing, and the other days you need to be the cheerleader.
Yep. And that's not gender based
At all.
Because I cheer Karen on all the time, and she cheers me on. Oh my gosh! From the time I wake up and open my eyes, she's cheering me on. But I need that in my relationship, and she recognized that. So I found a woman that gives that to me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then equally, you know, what I give to her. See, you know, you have to be walking in the same path. I mean, I know these things we are saying sound cliche-ish. We know they could, like, oh man, that junk ain't real, man. People, this couple ain't real. This us. This us all day, every day. We gonna tell you the truth. I always say the truth may sting a little bit in the beginning, but you respect the person more on the back end when you really find out what you're talking about.
Yeah, and our entire, we thought it was just so fitting to do this podcast before our anniversary, simply because we want to inspire people and we want to give you hope that if we can do it, you can do it. That is the entire reason why we started this podcast.
Love is real, man.
Yes, and we want
and women.
Yeah. Thank you, baby. We just want people out there to know that this is possible, that we're not just telling you this, once we're going to be doing master classes and things like that in the near future. But once we get into a lot of the things that we've gone through that we can't just, tell
a lot of that stuff gonna be in the book.
Minutes. Yeah, and a lot of it is in the book. Y'all are gonna be like, what in the world?
Who are these people?
Because we tell y'all all our business. But we just appreciate those of you who listen to us and who support our podcast. We want you to stay safe out there. Make sure that you are together as a team. I know nowadays we're all at home more, just because of the pandemic that's going on. But this is a time to reset your relationship.
Yes, it's a great time to reset. And like we say, love will make you go, like will make you stay. 1 + 1
equals 1.
And how do you stay together? You stay together.
Stay together, baby. Don't quit on me.
Happy relationship building.
Happy relationship building. Thank you for listening to our podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter @Mingo and Karen. Happy relationship building.